Morning, everybody. Welcome to Solo ReacTalk. This morning, I'm going to be reacting to a movie requested by Counter Eclipse, aka Rovan Desek. It's called When the Wind Blows, a 1986 animated war drama movie. Yes, well, the movie is also a VHS copy, a Vestron VHS copy. It was a bit difficult for me to find this movie, using torrents. This is a VHS copy, and it might not be of the best quality. Let me say that. Let me just say it like that. It might not be of the best quality, so forgive me for that. If you guys want to check out my previous movie reactions, I'm creating a playlist. It'll be at the top right here, if you guys want to check out my previous reaction to other movies. And yes, let us start with When the Wind Blows, a 1986 animated war drama movie. Okay. 3, 2, 1, go.
Motion picture blockbuster thriller of the year. Robert De Niro, Mickey Rourke, Lisa Bonet.
For those who don't understand what's going on here, during the times of the VHS supremacy, if I could say that, on the VHS cassettes, there would be adverts before the movie starts. And also, at the end of the movie, there would be more adverts. Or, if you were recording a TV show or a movie from a TV channel, sometimes you would record some of the adverts before the movie starts. And maybe that's what this is right here. It's either adverts or it's someone who was recording the movie from a TV channel, and they were recording the adverts first, just so that it's properly done in terms of recording the movie. And that's why we're seeing something that's not really related to When the Wind Blows. Yeah, okay, let's continue.
Angel Heart, you won't want to miss a beat. Then, he's a Stone Age sheriff armed with a rifle and a tin badge, up against an army of space-age weaponry. Nick Nolte, Powers Booth, Extreme Prejudice. It'll blow your mind.
Cool.
Diane Lane sizzles in the erotic smash, mixing fantasy with cold-blooded terror.
You know, you have got great fantasies. Your only problem is that you're afraid to act them out.
Lady Beware. Then,
I've never watched Lady Beware. Let me write that down here. I might want to watch it. Lady Beware. Okay.
meet Jessie, the rich girl whose misdeeds have brought her to her knees. Rat Packer Ali Sheedy is a princess-turned-pauper in Made to Order.
Yeah, I've seen this one.
Kiss of the Spider-Woman's Raul Julia is an ex-baseball giant who's batting zero in the trenches of love.
Get your cotton-picking hands off me. What do you want to do, rip my dress off again?
Beverly D'Angelo co-stars in this grand slam home run for the whole family. It's Trading Hearts, and you're gonna love it.
Okay, here's another movie that I might want to watch. Trading Hearts. Okay.
And Raul Julia's back in a dramatic and compelling tale that probes deep into the excesses of faith and the flesh.
Excesses of the faith and flesh? Yikes, okay.
I made love to your wife on the night of the rain.
Forbidden love holds a terrible price. Armand
Wait, why is he crucified? Okay.
DeSante co-stars in The Penitent.
The Penitent. Okay, I'm quite interested. I want to know, why is he crucifying himself? Why is he carrying a cross? The Penitent. Okay. Yeah, Lady Beware, Trading Heart, and The Penitent. So, okay.
For the best bets on video cassette, turn to International Video Entertainment.
this another movie advert or a TV advert of some sort? Okay, I've seen this guy on the poster for the video of When the Wind Blows. I think this is the movie. It's starting right now. Okay, all right.
It's all in the hearts, though you may be afraid. So long, child, it's awful dark, and I've never felt the sun. I dread to think of when the wind blows, when the wind blows, when the wind blows, when the wind blows.
Nice, very nice soundtrack. Oh wow.
Burns a savage wound, angry and raw.
When the wind blows, dee 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 dee. When the wind blows, dee 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 dee. That's nice. That's a nice opening, really.
Hello, dear.
Hello, love. Did you have a nice morning, dear?
Oh, all right, thanks. Rather uneventful. My life isn't very fast-moving or dynamic.
Well, you are retired, James.
James, okay. Then your wife's name is?
You do seem a bit down, dear.
Yes, well, been reading the papers in the public library all morning.
Oh, those things, full of rubbish. I never look at them, except the stars.
We must keep abreast of the international situation, Dux. The
Sussex News, war in capital letters. Oh, that's very concerning.
decisions made by the powers that be will get to us in the end.
Politics
That's very true.
and sport, that's all they're full of.
It could affect us all, the ultimate determinant in that. They say there may be a preemptive strike, dear.
Oh, not another strike. It's wicked. I'd have them all locked up. Bless it.
No, no, not a union strike. Not a union strike, lady. This is far more serious, far more dangerous. This is life-threatening now.
Communists.
Well, it all looks pretty empty. It's not that sort of strike, Duck.
Sausages or beef burgers, dear?
Sausages, thanks.
Beef for me, please.
It looks as if the balloon could go up at any moment.
What balloon? Mashed or chips?
Chips, please.
Chips, thanks. Oh, I don't know. The balloon, or is it a maroon? I can't remember.
Are you trying to say the balloon is gonna pop? Then yeah. You know, if this war actually happens, it will pop, the balloon.
What are you talking about, James?
It looks as if there's going to be a war, dear. Yes, they say it might break out at any time now.
Well, at least you won't be called up, James. You're far too old.
Oh, thank you, my beloved. I'm still 2 years younger than you.
Well, if the worst comes to the worst, we'll just have to roll up our sleeves, tighten our belts, and put on our tin hats till it's VE Day again.
It won't be like that this time, love. I think this one is called the Big Bang Theory. It's all worked out by brilliant scientists.
Well, we survived the last one. We can do it again.
Yeah, I don't know about this time, lady. I'm not entirely sure. If it's a nuclear exchange, the chances of survival are very slim. Very slim. It also depends on where do you stay. Are you close to the cities or towns or any industrial sector of the economy or a military base? If you're near any of these types of installations or infrastructure or places of high population density, then you're in trouble. You're in serious, serious trouble.
It'll take more than a few bombs to get me down.
Yes, we must look on the bright side, Ducks.
Ducks, okay. I like Ducks. I like her confidence, but also I think it's coming from a place of ignorance. She doesn't know the type of weapons that are going to be used in this war. You know, it's not going to be like previous wars, with conventional bombs and troops on the ground and, battleships and soldiers, invading other countries. It's not going to be that way anymore. Or if this war happens, it's not going to be that way, period. Yeah. It's just going to be a nuclear exchange, and it's going to be terrible.
Better go over to Radio 4.
I like Radio 2.
Radio 4 is better for the international situation.
That's so cute.
Good evening. This is Radio 4 with the news at 6 o'clock this Thursday evening. The Prime Minister, speaking a few minutes ago in the House of Commons, has warned that the international situation is deteriorating rapidly and that war could break out at any time in the next 2 or 3 days.
2 or 3 days? Seriously? And the United Nations, where are they in all of this? Oh my gosh.
Civil defense.
What's the matter, dear? Have you burned yourself?
This is it, Ducks. This is really it.
Another sausage, dear?
And hearing from...
I shouldn't worry too much. It'll probably all blow over.
3 days? Blimey. 3 days.
Language, James. Language.
Miss Ducks is taking this quite well. Maybe because, like I said before, out of her ignorance, she doesn't really know what this means, She doesn't really know what a nuclear exchange is going to become and result in. But it seems that James does know. And that's very scary, The fact that you're the one who knows what's going to happen, but your wife is none the wiser. And it doesn't seem like she wants to know, really, what's really going to happen, what's going to go on during this war in the next 2 to 3 days.
Crumbs. It's lucky I got more leaflets from the public library only this morning. Here we are, see? Protect and survive, and the Householder's Guide to Survival. Now,
Protect and survive. And what's the other manual?
the Householder's Guide to Survival. Now,
Householder's Guide to Survival. Okay.
this one should be really authoritative. It's printed by the County Council. We'd better commence the construction of the fallout shelter immediately, dear. Now, we must do the correct thing.
There's treacle tart and custard or cold bread and butter pudding.
Treacle tart, please.
I'll have the pudding, please.
Fallout? I thought they did that in the army.
No, dear, it's fall in the army. Fall in. Oh, thank goodness I got those official leaflets today. I gave the others to our Ron.
Our Ron. Okay. So Ron, I can assume is their child, because he said our Ron. Okay, child.
Oh, I suppose I hadn't. We'd have been totally non-prepared. I mean, just think.
Do you have to dig a hole like the old Anderson shelters in the war?
Oh, no, dear, that's all old-fashioned. With modern scientific methods, you just use doors with cushions and books on top.
No. Especially if this nuclear explosion is close to your proximity. You know, building a shelter out of doors or out of cushions is just not going to be enough. The shockwave will destroy your house. Unless if your house is made out of brick and mortar, maybe there is a chance for it structurally to be, survivable from that shockwave. However, the shockwave of the nuclear explosion is just the first, problem you face. The second might be the fact that your house might catch alight. Anything that's inside the house, the sofas, the curtains, the dressing table, cloth, anything, the carpets, they can catch fire because of the light from the nuclear explosion. And then we also have to deal with the nuclear fallout, the radiation. It would be advisable that you would go into like a cellar, somewhere that doesn't have any windows. If you have a cellar, a underground bunker of some sort or basement, use that. If you don't have any of that, then yes, you can create some sort of shelter in the house, somewhere in the middle of the house, where you're not close to the windows. Yes, use the doors, use the cushions, but as soon as you survive through that first initial explosion and shockwave, you need to get out as soon as possible. You need to get out and just get out of the town, get out of the village, get out of the city as far away as possible so that you don't get affected by the nuclear fallout. But if you cannot, make sure that you stay inside for at least, I can't remember, if it's 2 days or 2 weeks. Stay in there. Don't get outside. Don't drink water that's been exposed to the environment outside, because it might be contaminated. If there is piped water, you can use that. But yeah, essentially, if your house is made out of wood, it's going to be obliterated by the shockwave. It's going to catch fire by the light from the explosion. If you have a brick and mortar house, you have a better chance of survival. But also, if you have an underground basement of some sort, use it. Yeah.
Where on earth are we going to get doors from, James?
Well, you just unscrew them, dear.
You don't mean off our own house?
Well, yes, dear.
You're not going to ruin the paintwork, James.
Oh, don't worry. I can soon touch it up after the bomb's gone off.
Well, mind you do. James. Mind that paint, James.
Come on, James, be careful.
I hope you know what you're doing. I'll put the screws in a plastic bag. You'll only go and lose them. Remember, they're in the right-hand jug on the dresser.
The world might end, but she is continuing on with her chores. You know, it's just another day for her. But for James, yeah, he's really preparing for the worst. You know, he's one of those doomsday preppers. But at least here it's genuine. Like, there's a possibility of war. You know, it's even in the Essex or Sussex newspaper that, you know, war is imminent. The radio stations are saying that war is imminent in the next 2 to 3 days. Yeah, scary times. But I would advise that they would leave this place. If they are close to a city, I don't know if Sussex is a city or is it a town or a village. Yeah, if you're close to any of these types of places, you just gotta get out. You gotta go to the most remote areas in your country, probably, you know, and try to survive out there instead of being close to the city centers or to the towns, and even to villages. Anywhere where there's infrastructure, I'm sure that's where the nuclear bombs are going to land. Oh, she was daydreaming.
It's going to be very drafty with no doors on.
I expect it's a safety precaution. It'll let the blast go straight through. It says here, the inner core or refuge should be placed at an angle of 60 degrees for maximum strength.
I should place it up against the wall if I were you, dear.
Yes, which are the degrees? We haven't got any angles. I think we did it at school. You had angles with degrees in. Only I can't remember. I think I'll ring our Ron. He'll know.
In fact, where is Ron? He should be here with his family, right?
Hello, son. All right. Better than a baby? Good. Look, I'm building this governmental inner core or refuge, and it says, place it at an angle of 60 degrees. Well, what's that mean exactly? It's not cobbler's, son. It's in the governmental directive. You mean you're not constructing an inner core or refuge? I gave you the leafs especially. But what about baby Jim? Don't start singing. What do you mean we'll all go together when we go? It's not funny. No, but it's our duty to carry out governmental instructions in time of war, son. Stop laughing, will you? I'm surprised at you. You're supposed to be a responsible father now. A protractor? The angle at the bottom? Yes, I see. Oh, okay, son. Thanks. Now listen. Just you start that inner core or refuge. It's your bounden duty, son. Cheerio, son. Now remember what I said. I am your father. I do know a bit about war. Love to Beryl and baby Jim. Ta-ta.
Well, it seems that Ron has given up. He probably sees there's no way of survival from this type of war that's going to happen in the next 2 to 3 days. He's given up, while his father has not given up. Any chance, any type of, way of survival from this entire possible calamity, he's going to take it. He's going to take that chance. But it seems like the son sees it as a joke. He doesn't see any hope of survival. And yeah, look, if he's living in the cities, the chances are very low. Very low. At least I can see here with James and Doug's, they live in a very rural setting. However, I'm still not sure about how far are they away from the nearest town or the nearest city. How far away are they? I'm not entirely sure. Because the nuclear weapons that we use or that we have in today's world are far more powerful than the ones that were dropped on Hiroshima and Nagasaki. The shock wave, the impact radius, the amount of energy being released are far more devastating compared to the ones that were used on Japan. And it can reach kilometers. So yeah, I hope Ron gets out. He has 2 to 3 days. Pack up your stuff, get out.
Yes, sir. Ron says I need a protractor. He says I can get one at Willis's. He was killing himself laughing and he was singing songs. I can't understand it. I think it's nerves. He's gone a bit hysterical. He can't be drunk at this time of day.
Ron doesn't drink.
Oh, no, of course not, dear.
I'm sure he doesn't.
Ron is not going to make an inner core or refuge. I remonstrated with him, but he was adamant. He says if London cops it, he'll cop it, and not to worry, Dad. It's an irresponsible attitude. I'm a bit disappointed in him adopting that attitude.
He was always a very responsible boy when he was in the Cubs. It was going to that art college that spoiled him. He met some dreadful people there. Blessed beatniks.
Wow, this lady, Miss Dax. Oh, wow. She doesn't like, the arts. She doesn't like trade unions. She calls them communists. And I think she's using some derogatory words. Maybe, I might be mistaken. I'm not sure. But yeah, ooh.
I don't suppose it'll make a terrific amount of difference, the exact angle. It'll probably all fall down anyway. What with the bomb and that.
If a job's worth doing, it's worth doing well, James.
Yes, dear. But it is only temporary. After all, it'll all be over in a flash.
Yeah, in a flash. Definitely. What is that, an intercontinental ballistic missile?
Funny to think they were on our side in the war.
Who, dear?
The Ruskies.
The Ruskies? What, you mean the Russians? Why do you call them the Ruskies? Okay.
Old Joe Stalin.
Yes, he was a nice chap. I liked him. Like an uncle he was. I liked his moustache and his pipe.
Yeah. Roosevelt was nice too. There was 3 of them. Churchill, Roosevelt and Stalin. All good blokes. With old Hitler, Goering and Musso and all that lot on the other side. You some idea where you were then? I don't even know who the people are these days.
I expect it's all done by committees, dear.
Yes, and meetings. I expect they have loads and loads of meetings and thus arrive at decisions.
Well, I think it's quite easy to know your country's prime minister, just as much as it is easy to know the presidents or the prime ministers of other countries. You just have to, be aware, be conscious about what's happening around the world. It's not that hard. It's not that hard. In terms of committees and meetings, well, they had those things as well during World War II. The presidents didn't really just meet up with each other and shake hands and say that we're going to join forces. Before that happened, they had committees, they had meetings between the ambassadors and ministries that are involved in the war, and then came the higher officials, the presidents, the prime ministers, who came and just shook hands, took pictures, and signed documents to say that they're allied forces against the German Reich. So, yeah, you just need to be more conscious. You just need to read more newspapers that deal with international news, and you will get, what's going on around the world as much as possible. Yeah.
Commuters, too. They all use commuters these days. It's
Commuters?
very impersonal. Churchill with his cigar, old Stalin with his moustache. You knew where you stood.
Do you think they'll invade?
Oh, no, won't need to. It'll all be done by missiles. Long
He's right.
range. Then they'll instill commuters to take charge of us.
It's funny to think there's no shelters this time. We had an old Anderson in the garden. I can see it now. We had nasturtiums growing all over it, and we painted the front green.
Yeah, this type of shelter will not help in a nuclear attack. I just don't think so. Yes, it might survive the shockwave, but the heat from the radiation, from the nuclear explosion might really cook everybody inside that bunker or that shelter that's been built here. And radiation is still a very serious problem. The fallout will still be a deadly, silent, invisible killer. Yeah.
Painted, it looked quite pretty. Next door grew cabbages on theirs.
Yes. We had a Morrison. I used to sleep in it. I stuck pin-up girls all over the inside.
Yeah, the Morrison shelter box or cage box, I did not trust this thing. When I first saw it, I was like, no, man, people cannot survive in that thing. But surprisingly, it actually works. But in terms of this type of war scenario with nuclear weapons, I'm afraid that also this, shelter technology is obsolete, I think. Yeah, it's just too exposed. And, the light coming from a nuclear explosion will catch everything on fire in the house. You will be melted inside that cage, or you'll be burnt alive as the wooden structures of this shelter catch a light. So yeah, it's just not going to work. Oh yes, of course, and the radiation.
Betty Grable, Anne Shelton, Patricia Ropp. The roof got all smoky because I used to read in bed with a candle.
He must have come from a very well-off family, because those shelters, the Morgan shelters, were very expensive. Not many people had those shelters. Only the rich of the rich could afford such things. Yeah. Oh, okay. No, I think both of them were very well off when they were younger, with their families. Okay.
It was nice at the war, really. The shelters, the blackout, cups of tea.
The ARP, the evacuees, London kids seeing cows for the first time.
Old Churchill on fire, the 9 o'clock news. Yearlings singing away.
Workers' playtime, Spitfires and Harringtons in the blue sky over the cornfield.
The white kids old Jerry coming over every night.
Those were the days.
A bygone era. Now they just press a button and the biggest explosion with the most powerful light you would ever see, and death follows after it.
Don't you dare use my best cushions from the front room. I'll get some old ones from upstairs. I'll put them in plastic bags. I don't want finger marks getting all over them.
I shouldn't worry too much, love. They're bound to get dusty with all the fallout coming down. It says here we've got to lay in food supplies for 14 days.
I'd better put a note out for 28 pints of milk then.
I'll just pop out and get 14 loaves, dear, and a protractor.
I think you should get more food, more than 14 days worth of food. You need to get more of it. And if you have like a cellar, or you have a way to dig a hole, just dig a hole and just bury all that food underground so that it doesn't get contaminated or it doesn't melt due to the heat from the nuclear explosion. Yeah, I think you're going to need more than 14 days worth of food.
Anything else you want?
I'll need more plastic bags, dear.
The cinematography in this movie is not, completely animated. There are some parts, yes, where we see like live video cinematography, and then other parts where it's like puppetry, and it's just different. It's not really like completely animated. Yeah, it's quite interesting.
There's no bread, Docs. Sold out. There seems to be some sort of panic purchasing.
Can't be helped, dear. After all, there's a war on. Or nearly, anyway. I hope you haven't left that cake dripping in the hall, James.
Oh, no, dear. Mr. Willis has sold out of protractors. I expect everyone wants 60 degrees. He was terrifically kind, Mr. Willis. He cut me out a bit of card with 60 degrees on it. Look.
Oh, nice, dear.
Here's the emergency supplies, Ducks. 2 packets of ginger creams, half the jam sponge, a tin of pineapple chunks, and a tin of Christmas pudding.
It'll all be over by Christmas.
Miss Ducks.
You're not decorating now, James?
We've got to paint the windows white, dear.
Whatever for?
It's for the radiation, I think. Like you do in greenhouses to keep out the sun. It's the correct thing.
It won't.
I don't know about this, but okay. But I think the glass is going to be shattered by the shockwave, so it doesn't really matter. But, okay.
Be that hot, surely.
Well, I don't know. They say the one at Hiroshima was equal to 1,000 suns. So it is quite hot. And besides, the powers that be are making much better ones now. Science has leaped forward with giant strides. Whoop!
Mind you don't get
Yeah, giant strides to death. That's for sure.
paint on those curtains, James. You should have taken them down first. You never think. I know that smile of yours, James.
Oh, James is in trouble.
Keep doors closed to prevent the spread of fire, it says.
But you've taken off half the doors, James.
Yes, dear.
Won't that make the fire worse, then?
Well, perhaps the blast will blow the fire out. Well, inner core or refuge looks quite cosy, doesn't it, dear?
I hope those doors aren't marking the wallpaper, James.
Come in and try it out, dear, please. Oh, careful, careful, you'll have it over.
Stand up, can't you, James? Couldn't you have made it a bit wider?
It's constructed in compliance with the governmental specifications, dear.
Well, they might have made it wide enough for 2 people. Suppose you were married.
We are married, dear.
Yes, well, there you are, then. Oh. What about if you had children? Where would they go?
Good question.
Oh, well, you just hold them in your arms. They'd soon fall asleep.
Suppose they were 17 or 18, big boys with bristly chins and big boots on.
Very good question, Miss Dax.
Skinheads.
Well, in that case, you'd just add a few more doors.
There's no wall space for more doors.
Oh, no. Well, our Ron was never a skinhead anyway.
It just shows, the limited preparation there was for the civilians in an event of a nuclear scenario. Really, there's just so little that you can do in terms of preparing yourself for something like this. Because building a bunker is really expensive. It's not something that you can just order from a store to say, I want you to build me a bunker. It's not that simple. It takes a lot of money, it takes a lot of infrastructure and resources. And if you're living in city centers, there's just no way. There's no way that you can build yourself a very secure facility to protect yourself from nuclear war. So, whatever the government has requested the public to do in their guidelines, it's very limited. It's a chance. It's just a little chance of survival. And it's terrifying to know that you as a civilian, you can only do so much. But all that you've done can be undone in less than a second. Your family, your friends, they could all just be incinerated. Even after all that you've tried to do, it could be all for nothing. It's very sad, very terrifying.
What on earth are you putting the food in there for?
Well, that's where it's got to be.
But why can't it stay in the larder and fridge?
Because we must not emerge for the 14 days of the national emergency.
You're not saying we've got to stay in that thing for 2 weeks.
Well, yes, dear. Ours not the reason why. Now, we must do the correct thing.
Well, what about the cooking then? How do I get to the cooker?
We just have to use a little picnic stove, dear.
What about the toilet?
Well,
Good question. Hey, Miss Dax is coming up with these good questions. And there's just no way of really answering them, There's just no way of answering them properly. No way.
we have to have a potty or something.
I can tell you now, James Bloggs, that I am going to go upstairs in the proper manner.
But you mustn't emerge, dear, not for the 14 days of the national emergency.
All right, then. How are you going to empty the chamber pot?
Well, we just have to empty it down the toilet, I suppose.
You just said we couldn't go to the toilet.
Yeah.
Oh, yes. Yeah. Now, we better not cross our bridges till we come to them, eh? Look on the bright side, eh, Dux?
Long-range bomber. We saw an intercontinental ballistic missile. Now we're seeing a long-range bomber. How many days are left? 2? 1? Yikes.
It says here, 2 pints of water per person per day. I wonder if we've got enough bottles.
I'll have a look under the stairs, dear. I've measured the water into the bottles, James. I've labelled them so we don't get in a muddle.
Oh, good. That's nice, dear. You're very efficient in a national emergency, dearest.
Oh, get on with you.
It says here, D, miscellaneous. Salt, tomato ketchup and sauces, pepper, matches, toilet paper, disinfectant, vitamin tablets, tin opener, knives, forks, spoons. Funny. No plates.
What's all that, dear?
I don't know. It's called miscellaneous. Pass it in, please.
Miscellaneous. Okay.
Funny.
What, dear?
In the governmental leaflet, it says, remove thin materials from windows. And in the county council leaflet it says, hang white sheets in the windows. I wonder...
So there is confusion on what you're supposed to be doing. The local government is giving you one guidance, while the national government is giving you another. Oh, wow. Yeah, definitely they were not prepared for something like this to happen. I don't think anyone can be. I don't think any nation can really be prepared for a nuclear exchange.
Which is correct.
Oh, it says peanut butter. We haven't got any. Oh, dear.
Never mind, Ducks. I don't like it, nor do you.
No, but it's on the official list. Oh, dear.
Now, don't worry, love. I expect we'll survive without it. You'll probably go running in the heat anyway. You get terrific heat with these bombs, you know. Mind you, diet is very important. You are what you eat, and survival of the fittest, and that. That's why so many people are jogging and eating lots of all bran, I expect. Only the fittest will survive the outcome of the nuclear holocaust.
You know, I think you need luck more than being fit. You need luck. You can be the fittest person on the planet. You can be Superman. But when those bombs hit, you need luck. You need luck to survive the explosion. You need luck to survive the shockwave. You need luck to make sure that you don't get high doses of lethal radiation. You need luck to make sure that you don't get cancers later on in your life, you know. Because radiation poisoning is no joke. It's no joke. It takes the fittest people, it takes the weakest people, anyone, everyone. So you need luck.
They eat lots of beans, too.
They give you wind, beans do. You certainly shouldn't eat beans, James.
Let's not get personal, Ducks. I'm trying to have a scientific discussion.
If there really is going to be a war, who do you think will win?
Well, the Americans have tactile nuclear superiority due to their IBMs and their polar submarines. But in the event of a preemptive strike, innumerate Russian hordes will sweep across the plains of Central Europe. Then the US Technical Air Force will come roaring in with their Superforts, B-17s and B-90s, bristling with guns. Terrifically hard. OK, you guys, let's go. They'd razor the rusty defences to the ground. Then the Marines would parachute in and round up the population. After that, the big generals would go over, like Ike and Monty. Then the Russians would capitulate, and there would be a condition of surrender. Then they'd instill free and fair election. One man, one vote. And women too nowadays, of course. And thus the communist threat to the free world would be neutralified and democratic principles would be instilled throughout Russia, whether they liked it or not.
Wow. Wow. Yeah. Maybe in World War II, that would have been, you know, something that's possible. But in this type of war scenario, in terms of nuclear exchanging, no. There's not going to be any troops dropping out of a plane, you know, parachuting down to the surface. There's not going to be any fighter jets having dogfights. There's not going to be any warships battling at sea. There's not going to be any generals giving orders to their subordinates. It's mutual destruction. It's total. The types of nuclear weapons that these countries have would obliterate any form of order and infrastructure in any of these nations. No one is going to make it. There's not going to be any winner. Everybody is going to lose.
That's the world scenario as I see it at this moment in time.
Monty, wasn't he in the war?
Well, of course he was. He practically won it. You remember, dear? Big berry with badges on it. Tanks. Desert Rats. El Alamo.
But that was ages ago, dear.
Yes, well, I expect he's getting on a bit. Probably been promoted.
More likely dead.
Monty dead? Never.
I bet he is. It's about 40 years since the war. And he had a moustache then.
Who's in charge now, then?
Oh, one of those commuters, I expect.
It says here, place your national savings certificates, medical cards and birth certificates in a box.
Here's a nice box, dear. I'll give it a good clean out.
Oh, thanks. We'd better keep it in a safe place. I wonder what would be a safe place.
So we've got a nuclear submarine, we've got a bomber, and also an intercontinental ballistic missile. Wow.
Who's in charge of the Russians, dear?
Oh, it's Shivinsky, isn't it? Or Molotov. No, Molotov's just a cocktail, I think. Khrushchev. Yes, that's right. B and K. Bulgaria and Khrushchev, that's him. And that bloke Marx has got something to do with it.
What are you doing, dear?
Blocking up the windows in compliance with the governmental directive. It's a correct thing.
I don't know about this. You know, putting things to block the windows like this, I don't know. Because when that shockwave reaches your house, it's going to blow those drawers, you know, into the house, and it's going to be a lot of shrapnel, a lot of pieces of wood, and it might hurt you. So I don't know about blocking your windows this way, but okay.
Yes. And then there's the usual committee, of course, the Comintern, they call it, the Soviet Supreme. They're in charge of the BJ Key. That's the Secret Service. SS for short. Our lot is called EMI5. Oh, it's all very complicated ducks.
Well, mind you don't scratch the polish. Is it any good writing him a letter, do you think?
Who, dear?
This leader, BJ, what's his name?
What are you going to say, dear?
Oh, I don't know. Dear Sir, Mr. BJ thing. We, the people of Britain, are fed up with being bombed. We had enough of it last time with old Hitler, so will you just leave us in peace? You live your life and we'll live ours. Hope you are well. Please don't drop any bombs. Yours sincerely, Mr. and Mrs. J. Bloggs.
Yeah, if only it were that simple, that easy. You know, even in our time period with social media, we have almost instantaneous communication with our governments, our national governments, our provincial governments, our local governments. You know, we have access to them, but it can only go so far. I think one of the only truly effective ways to communicate with your governments, to tell them not to proceed with war, not to proceed with using weapons of mass destruction, is protesting, to participate in civil unrest. It's the only way, because it seems like national governments, or governments of the day, only start to take notice that the people are angry when we protest, when we burn things, when we die on the streets. Because letters and sending messages through social media, it doesn't seem to work. Sad.
Very good, dear. Very nice. Yes. It might be a bit late for the post. You know what the post is like these days. First class might just get there. But I must do this list. Dustbin, calendar, books, games, paper, pencils, shovel, spade, crowbar, axe, hatchet, saw, whistle and or gong for alarms, suitcases for furniture or evacuation, string, pliers, first aid kit, safety pins, scissors, splints, aspirins, diarrhea remedy, tweezers, calamine lotion, war crisis editions, lice, flea powder, rodent poison, insulin blood pressure tablets, rubber gloves, sanitary towels, mirror, toilet paper, eye wash.
All of these things, I don't understand how the government expects you to keep all of these things and expect all of these amenities to still be here once the bombs have dropped. Because I can tell you, most of what he's just read out are going to be burnt, are going to melt due to the heat, are going to be blown into pieces because of the shockwave. So all of these things, most of them are not going to make it. Ay, it's terrible.
I wonder if it's true about the paper bags. Or is it a joke? I never know.
Paper bags?
It's just a joke or not.
What's that, dear?
Well, they say you should get into a paper bag just before the bomb goes off.
Whatever for?
Suppose it's like the white paint. It deflects the heat a bit.
Really? Okay. I've never heard of that.
Sounds silly to me.
There are some paper bags. We had spuds from the farm in them. There should be 4.
They'll be filthy, James. Are you sure your bag is clean, James?
Yes, dear. I cleaned it thoroughly.
You do look silly.
I wonder if it's all right to have eye holes. They say it's the correct thing to wear white. People in Hiroshima with pattern clothes got burned where the pattern was, and not so much on the white bits. Even the buttons showed up.
Yes, but they were Japanese.
What is that supposed to mean? Miss Ducks, no. Oh my gosh, this lady.
Is there a clean white shirt, dear, ready for the bomb?
You're not going to wear that nice new one I gave you for Christmas. I don't want that spoiled. You can wear your old clothes for the bomb and save your best for afterwards.
All right, dear, but is there an old white one without stripes? I don't want stripes all over me.
Never heard such nonsense. We didn't think what colour clothes we had on in the war. Lucky to have any clothes at all with everything on coupons.
We
And
are interrupting
besides...
this program for an official government announcement. An enemy missile attack has been launched against this country.
I guess it's time.
It is estimated that the missiles will arrive in approximately 3 minutes. 3 minutes.
God almighty, Ducks. There's
Do
only
not
3
leave
minutes
your
to go.
homes.
Oh dear, I'll just
Stay
get the washing
indoors
in.
and
No, leave the washing.
take
Come
cover.
back, you stupid bitch, and
Lie
get in the
down.
shelter.
How
Keep
dare
away
you
from
talk to me
windows.
like that, James?
Shut up
Cover
and
your
get
head
in.
and
There's
eyes.
no need to forget
Do
our
not
manners
look at
just
the
because
sky
there's a
or
war
through
on.
Shut up, I'm trying to listen.
Take shelter immediately.
I've
Repeat.
never heard such language
An
in all my
enemy
life.
Miss Ducks, we need to hurry.
For
Missile
God's
attack
sake,
has
shut
been
up.
launched
Oh
against this
dear,
country.
I've left the
Do
oven
not
on.
leave your
Get in,
homes.
get in,
Stay
get in.
indoors
The
and take
cake
cover.
will be burned.
Leave it alone, Miss Ducks.
Lie down. Keep away from windows. Cover your head and eyes. Do not look at the sky or through windows.
Say your prayers to the gods, to the ancestors, whoever's listening. Say your prayers right now.
Take shelter immediately. Repeat. Stay indoors. Do not leave your home.
The cake will be burned.
would you look at that? The shelter survived. Okay.
Blimey. Blimey.
Well, never.
I suppose that was it.
I should think so.
Blimey. You all right, dear?
Yes, thanks, love. Oh, dear. I do feel all shaky.
Never mind, Dux.
It must be the shock.
We're still in one piece, eh?
Yes, I think so. Wasn't it light?
Yeah. Terrific. You get terrific light with these bombs.
The heat.
I know. Whew. It's still hot now. I wonder how far we are away from the epicenter. Or was it the hypocenter?
I think it's called epicenter, yes.
Can't remember.
What's that, dear?
Well, it's the center of it all, you know, the bullseye, sort of. Bang in the middle, or middle of the bang, rather.
I should think we were bang in the middle, dear. A direct hit. Oh, just look at all that glass.
No, it couldn't have been a direct hit, dear. We would have sustained greater damage and suffered greater casualties.
Don't talk to me about damage. Just look at those curtains.
Yes,
Miss Dux.
but it would have been much worse at the epi-hypo thing, dear.
I don't see how it could have been much worse.
You would have been vaporized if you were at the epicenter of the explosion, Miss Dux. You would be dead.
I'll never get them clean. I'll give them a good soak tonight. Blessed Germans.
Ruskies, dear. The shelter stood up well, didn't it? I constructed it in compliance with governmental specifications.
Well done, James. Well done. I was worried about the shelter, whether it would make it, but here it is. Here it is. But now we must deal with the nuclear fallout. Radiation poisoning is next.
I hope the cushions aren't spoiled.
I think some of them blew off in the blast.
I do like nice cushions.
Yes, but there's more important things at the moment, Dux.
And curtains. Cushions and curtains. I better get out and put them in soak
No, stay in here.
now.
Stay in!
Don't you
dear.
shout at me, James.
But it's the whole point, dearest. This is what the shelter's for.
It's as if Miss Dux really she's listening, but she's not really understanding. You know, the type of situation that they're in. She witnessed it, she felt it, you know, the explosion and the shockwave, but she's still not really getting to understand what this all means. And it is a bit frustrating. You know, it really is a bit frustrating just to see her act as if it's okay. You know, I just need to wash this and just need to clean there and everything's fine. You know, I've survived through the bomb. That's it. It's not. This is just the beginning.
But the blessed bomb has gone off already.
Yes, but the fallout is falling out now, see?
No, I don't see. I can't see any soppy fallout.
It's invisible, Miss Dux. You'll probably see dust or black rain, and that's got all the radioactive material in it. You know, whether it's a black rain or it's dust coming from the explosion. And that is dangerous. If you get a lot of it, like a lethal dose of that radiation, you will die. And I don't know how this house is really going to protect you from that type of situation. We can only hope.
I'm getting out. Just look at all that mess.
No, we must stay in. We must do the correct thing. Come on now, it's late. Let's get to bed.
Whatever is this box of sand for, James? It had better not be for what I think it's for. I've told you what I think about that subject already. Bomb or no bomb, Hitler or no Hitler, I'm going to go to the toilet in the proper manner.
No, dear, it's not an earth tray. The governmental directive says it's for cleaning plates and that.
Cleaning plates? Why shouldn't we wash them properly and dry them on a nice clean tea towel? We washed up properly all through the war.
But it's to conserve emergency water supplies, dear.
What is the world coming to?
You see, dear...
Tuck my feet in. My old mother would have a fit if she knew.
Yes, but...
Drying plates in an earth tray. Catch me eating off a plate covered in sand. You'd be the first to complain.
Dear,
Bit of grit in your winkles and you're spitting and splattering all over the place. Tomorrow you can put that thing outside for someone's cat.
And don't you look at that? In the distance, a city is burning. The people are burning. A lot of death and destruction is happening just beyond that hill.
Where it belongs. Oh, I'm getting fed up stuck in this thing. I want to get out and tidy up. Oh, just look at all that mess out there.
we must do the correct thing, dear. We must remain in the inner core or refuge. Ours not to reason why, ours but to, something or other. It tells you about this problem in the County Council Directive. I'll show you. Let's see, where is it now? Oh, yes, here we are. During this period, reduced external stimuli may produce problems of group behaviour.
Oh, yes, I see, dear.
Steps to combat this may include the following. At intervals, stimulate group activities.
Don't you dare start stimulating, James. I'm not in the mood.
Oh, Miss Ducks. Oh my gosh.
No, dear. It means discussions and that. It says discussions, card games, storytelling, quizzes, etc. Perhaps we'd better try storytelling. You tell me one.
No, I can't. I'd feel funny. You're not a baby.
Well, pretend I am.
He's your baby.
Don't be silly.
Go on.
No. You tell me one.
I don't know any.
There you are then.
What about a quiz? I spy with my little eye.
Oh, not that. It's childish, James.
Or it says here, discuss the changed conditions after an attack and consider how to overcome or adapt to them. Well, let's start on that one, dear. Who's going to start the ball rolling, eh? Shall I kick off? Eh? Right. Here goes. I think we could overcome the changed conditions after an attack by all pulling our weight, putting our shoulders to the wheel, so that we all pull together now that our backs are against the wall. And we can show these Jerrys, Ruskies, just...
Who are the Jerrys now? Oh my gosh. These words you guys are using.
what we think of them. And, well, that's all, I think.
Oh, hooray, James. You ought to be a politician.
I think you guys should take off your clothing that you're wearing currently. You have to take off your clothing and put on new clothing, because this clothing might have the radio isotopes on it, and you'll get radiation poisoning. So take off your clothing, put on new clothing that's not exposed, and then, okay, but before wearing those clothing, also wash. If you have a soap, you have water to bathe yourself, do it now. Thoroughly wash yourself. So you can just wash off any type of radioactive material on your body, so that it doesn't seep into your body and affect you in the long run. So wash with soap, of course, wash your hair, and put on new clothing. And stay in this shelter. Yeah, I don't advise that you go outside just yet. Yeah. But is any of that possible? I don't know.
It says, reading aloud to pass the time is a good idea. It's a good job I got this book from the public library. It's called Armageddon and You. There's a terrific bit in it about Western defences. Now, just listen to this. There are 3 BMEWs, Ballistic Missile Early Warning Systems. 1, PRCS, Perimeter Acquisition Radar Attack Characterization System. Then there's NORAD, North American Air Defence, and JSS, Joint Surveillance System, and then 7 ROCCs, Regional Operation Control Centres. Then there's NADGE, NATO Air Defence Ground Environment, and several AWCS, Airborne Warning and Control Systems. All this is controlled by the NCA, National Command Authorities, by means of the NMCS, National Military Command Centre, and AMCC, Alternative Military Command Centre, and NEACC, National Emergency Airborne Command Post. And it all comes under WWMCS, Worldwide Military Command and Control System.
All of those organizations he was, reading out are all dead. All those people who belong to those organizations are dead. Any form of detection system that they used to detect all of these missiles, yes, they detected them, but they failed in preventing these missiles from destroying, the cities and the towns and wherever else these nuclear bombs have landed. So, yeah, it's over.
We should be all right with that lot looking after us, eh, Dax?
Well, it didn't stop them from bombing us, did it?
Exactly.
Well, no, I suppose not really. Still, I just think it might have been worse. Got to look on the bright side, Dax. Besides, another thing the powers that be have created is called MAD.
Mad?
Yes, MAD. M-A-D. Mutual Assured Destruction. I read about it in the public library.
I think
Yeah, well, it's just happened right now. Mad. Mutually assured destruction. It has occurred.
my old dad was in the mutual assured insurance. A penny a week it was in those days.
This isn't insurance, Dux.
I think it covered the cost of the funeral.
Yes, well,
Oh, Miss Dax. Oh my gosh, this lady.
I suppose this is similar. It all comes out of our taxes.
He had a lovely funeral, our dad. You don't pay any taxes now. You're retired, James.
No, I'm fully paid up. My funeral is fully assured. It's time we went to bed. It's getting dark. I'll sleep in my clothes. It's an all-out war situation. I might be called out in the night for an emergency. They may need all able-bodied men at short notice.
They'll soon change their minds when they see your pot-bellied little body.
If no one is here by now, if no one has reached your house by now, I don't think anyone is coming. I think that bomb, where it landed, did extreme and total damage. No one is coming. Either they're dead or they are trapped under rubble. Yeah, it's either those two. Either they're dead or they're trapped under rubble. There is no rescue team. There is no one that's going to be asking you for help because they are dead.
Morning, Dad. And how do you feel?
Oh dear. I ache all over.
So do I. Oh, I've got a terrific headache.
I still feel so tired.
Never mind, Dux. It's probably shock. The bomb and that. Oh, it's bound to upset us a bit. After all, you don't get a nuclear bomb every day of the week, do you?
Just as well. Never knew a bomb could give you headaches.
Oh, yes, Dux. I told you these bombs have a terrific effect on all sorts of things. Nice cup of tea will perk you up. Honey, they've cut the water off. Oh,
I don't think they cut the water. I think it's just the infrastructure. It's either melted or been destroyed by the shockwave. Yeah. And that's bad because I was gonna hope that you guys could wash. Because that's very necessary now. To prevent any of the nuclear material from getting into contact with your skin. And also, to take off these clothing that you're wearing currently and put on new clothing. It is essential. You need to take a bath. You need to wear clothing that's not exposed to the environment. And you need to get out of this place as soon as possible. You can't stay here.
Still, that's logical. Might be contaminated. It's a wise precaution for the protection of the population.
Use the bottles, dear.
Oh, yes, of course. The emergency reserve supplies. Most of them seem to have been broken in the blast here. Contents have been dissipated.
It was that hot. It was that hot, and the water evaporated from those bottles. I'm actually kind of amazed that they're still holding their structure as a bottle. I thought it would have melted by now. But yeah, that's amazing.
Funny, the electric's off too. Still, bound to be conservation of energy resources, a wise governmental precaution during the period of national emergency.
Nah, probably the power stations caught fire or were destroyed by the shockwave. Or there is an EMP from the nuclear explosion that just disabled all electrical systems.
Good job we've got that little picnic stove, eh, dear?
Are there any aspirins? Mind it doesn't pop, James. I can't bear it when it pops.
Nothing like a cup of tea, Grams, I must be dreaming. The news, we're just in time.
All this dust in the air that's hanging over them like this. I don't like this. I don't like this. That must be radioactive material just hanging in the air like that.
No, nothing. There's nothing. All dead.
What about the telly?
Yes, of course. They may have filmed it all. We may see our bomb on the news. No. All dead.
No picture?
No.
Not even just the voices?
No. Nothing. All dead.
All dead. Have to wait for the papers.
There should be some good pictures. These
Papers. There is no one that's going to be working. No one. No one for the papers, no doctors, no firefighters, no police, no government officials, no neighbors. Maybe there are some neighbors that have survived like you guys, but really any form of normalcy or semblance of normalcy or continued civilization has ended the moment those bombs dropped. It has ended. It's even silent outside. You don't hear the birds. You probably won't even see the green fields anymore. Probably it's all burnt. You know? Everything that you knew those past 2 days ago or 3 days ago is gone.
Bombs are quite spectacular.
He's late already.
Yes, well, that's logical. There's bound to be delays and shortages during the period of national emergency.
I'll miss the serial on Woman's Hour. It was just getting interesting.
Crumbs, I haven't tried the transistor. No. Seems to have packed up. Oh, probably needs new batteries.
Yes, I must pop down to Willis's. They are a price these days. 97p last time. Just
Look how it looks outside. And to think that like outside it was just green grass going on for as far as you could see. And like I said, you could hear the birds chirping, you could hear the animals, other animals making their noises. Nothing now. It's utter silence. Utter silence. And the clouds hanging with radioactive material. Ugh.
fancy. We ought to get one of these new hi-fis when your endowment policy comes up.
Oh, yes, or a stereo. I've only got 2 years to go.
I hope Ron and Beryl got back all right.
Oh, yes, they'll be all right. Our Ron's a very careful driver.
I didn't mean the driving so much, dear. More the bomb.
I'll give them a ring. Hello? 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 No, it's not even ringing. Well, I expect the lines are down. They say there are red-hot winds of 500 miles an hour.
Looks like the telephone has also melted.
I'll check that would render the lines inoperable. I'll drop them a line. Tell them to give us a ring.
Do you think the post will be going?
Oh, yes, bound to be. The powers that be will endeavour to maintain the communications. Remember the Blitz? The post went on just the same. It's government policy. Keeps.
If there's any government still existing throughout all of this, I don't think they will be focusing on communicating with the greater public. I think they're going to try and see if there's any military installations or forces still active somehow, some way, throughout all of this mess, and formulate a plan of defense or another offense against their attackers. Yeah, but I don't think they're really going to focus on the public.
The morale of the populace.
I hope Ron is insured. You did pay ours, didn't you, James?
Oh, yes, dear. The bomb won't cost us a penny. We'll be well covered.
You don't have to worry about any of that. Just survive.
Lovely. We can have some nice new curtains for the summer.
Crumbs. I wonder if it's all over already. If it is all over, I wish I'd knew who'd won.
We can't have lost the war, can we, James? We won the other two.
No, of course not. Remember old Churchill? We will never surrender.
Yes, but Churchill's not Prime Minister now, dear.
No, well, of course not. I suppose it won't be the same without, with old what's-his-name, will it? Who is it, anyway? I must check the emergency supplies list. We never had time to finish it. It says here, a notebook for messages.
Who are you going to write messages to, dear?
Well, you never know. There's always a need for vital messages in wartime. Our lives might depend on a vital message getting through to headquarters.
Oh, I see, dear.
And it says, a whistle and gong for a life.
She's just looking at the window, thinking about the curtains that are gone. Like, what am I going to do? Oh, Miss Ducks. Oh, gosh.
Arms.
Oh, what will you do with that, dear?
Well, if I saw a ruskie coming down the lane, I'd bang the gong, if we had one.
Wouldn't he shoot you, dear?
What, just for banging a gong?
He'd be well within his rights to shoot you if there's a war on.
Oh, crumbs. You really think so? Just for banging a gong? I'm glad we haven't got a gong.
We've got a whistle.
Have we? Where is it?
I'm not sure.
Never mind. Let's leave it. Let's leave it. Let's leave it.
I do feel tired. Really exhausted and all dizzy.
I was worried about this. Yeah, you guys have radiation poisoning. I don't know if it's extremely lethal, but you guys have been sitting on these sofas that have got the dust. You're breathing in the dust. You are busy, trying to clean the house with the sweeps and the duster, feather duster, and it's just making things worse. It's just making all that dust hang around in the air, and you're breathing it in. You're sleeping there on the sofas. Yeah. This is bad.
Nervous exhaustion due to unaccustomed lifestyle. That's what that is.
How's your headache, dear?
Just the same, thanks. Aspirins didn't seem to do any good at all.
I think I've got a temperature. I feel all hot and shivery.
You do look pale, dear. I should have an early night.
I must clear up. Suppose someone comes and sees the place in this state. We might have visitors.
Yes, the emergency service should arrive today. I'm surprised they've not come before.
It's because they're all dead.
I expect they've got a lot of people to attend to.
Oh, yes. We're only an outlying district. They'll be heavily engaged within the stricken area itself.
Will it be like Meals on Wheels, dear?
Yes, I should think so. There'll be mobile canteens and soup kitchens, teams of doctors and nurses, helicopters flying in blankets and medical supplies. It'll all move smoothly into action, you bet. They'll all be here in next to no time. The governmental authorities have been aware of this eventuality for years, so contingency plans will have been formulated long ago. We won't have to worry about a thing. The powers that be will get to us in the end.
I hope they come soon, dear. I'm not feeling very well. I wonder if we'd have been better off in the cellar.
Oh, no, dear, too damp. Think of my rheumatism.
Would you like...
You guys have a cellar? You guys should have stayed in the cellar. Oh, no. Oh.
like a bite to eat, dearest?
No, thanks. I'm right off food.
So am I. I must go to the toilet, and I don't want any arguments. Blessed dust everywhere.
Oh, crumbs! I forgot. We're supposed to stay in the inner core or refuge.
Well, it's too late now. We've
Yeah, just forget about it. It's too late.
been out for ages.
Oh, blimey, it was the whole point. I wonder if there's any radiation about.
Well,
It's been here since day one. It's been here. It has been here. You know, it's invisible. It's odorless. It's tasteless. You can't see it. It's been here. The invisible death has been here with you.
can't see anything.
Hurry up, dear, and get back in the inner core or refuge. We better have an early night.
Oh, well, if you can't see it and can't feed it, it can't be doing you any harm, can it?
This one can, Miss Ducks.
Better try and eat something today, dear.
I was sick 3 times in the night. My headache's even worse.
Let's have a walk round the garden, dear. I've just read it's only 48 hours in the inner core or refuge, not 14 days. Bit of fresh air is all we need. I'll get a nice lettuce.
Lettuce. This eerie silence and just hearing the wind howling, it's so scary. It's heart-wrenching even.
Crumbs, look at the door. The paint's all gone. Scorched down to the wood.
Never mind, dear. You said you'd burn it off one day.
The leaves have all gone off the apple tree ducks.
Oh, yes. What a shame.
Still, it'll be lovely in the spring.
It is spring, dear.
Oh, listen. A dog.
Oh, poor thing. I expect he's hungry.
The heat has affected the hedge, love.
The beans look a bit shriveled.
And I think the lettuce have evaporated. Well, they do have a high water content.
Can you see any fallout falling out, James?
No, the sun is trying to get through.
They didn't blow up the sun, thank goodness.
Oh, no, dear. Science is still in its infancy.
What does the fallout look like, dear?
I don't know. The government directive neglects to mention how the populace could recognise it. I expect it's a bit like snow ducks, only greyer.
The grass looks a funny colour.
Yes, I'll pop down to Mr. Sponge's tomorrow and get some bone meal and dried blood.
He may be closed due to the bomb, dear.
What, old Sponge? Miss a day's trade? Oh, not him. He'd rather die.
These two. They still act like everything is fine, you know. Yeah, the bomb is dropped, but, you know, everything is okay. I'm going to go visit the store in town. Yeah.
It's very cloudy. Almost foggy.
Needs some sun to bring the garden on.
The milkman's not been yet. He's late.
Oh, well, that's logical. He'd bound to be a bit late after the bomb.
Perhaps he's been called up to fight or something.
Oh, yes. Maybe. But they'd have got a woman or something. Very quiet, isn't it?
Yes. Funny. No trains. No traffic.
I expect they're all having a good lie-in after the bomb.
Terrible smell of burning.
Oh, yes. Well, bound to be. That's logical.
It's like roast meat.
Yes, roast dinners.
Yeah, roast meat. The flesh of so many human beings burning all at the same time. People running or just walking, shambling bodies of flesh falling off the bone. You know, others trying to protect themselves from the heat, going into water, bathtubs filled with water, but they still die in that. Some jumping into rivers, they drown. Some of them trapped in their cars, burning. Some trapped in train coaches, burning. People screaming. Entire buildings just melting or being shattered. It's terrible. It's a horror that no one should be experiencing. No one should witness. And the sad thing is that we've gone through this before with World War II, with Japan. And there are still countries in this world that believe that having their nuclear weapons is a deterrent against other countries using their nuclear weapons. These things need to be dismantled. They need to go. We cannot afford to do this to ourselves. We cannot.
I expect people are having their Sunday dinners early this week due to the unexpected circumstances.
The road's gone all funny. Seems to have melted a bit.
I expect that's why the milkman's late. He's got stuck somewhere. I wonder if there's a proper war on. I wonder who's winning.
Never mind. It'll all be in the papers, dear.
Nobody is winning, James. Nobody is winning. You all lost. All of you lost. It's not like in the movies or in games that we play where it's a post-apocalyptic world where, you know, there's some humans who are alive and who are living their lives in a post-apocalyptic scenario. No. They're all dead. Whoever lives through this ordeal, they will never be the same. Their children and their children's children will never be the same.
Think of it, he's late too.
He missed us altogether yesterday.
Well, you can't expect things to be normal after the bomb. Difficulties will be experienced throughout the duration of the emergency period. Normality will only be assumed after the cessation of hostilities.
Normality. Yeah.
Oh dear. I think I'm going to be sick again.
There, ducks. All better now?
I had the most terrible diarrhea this morning.
Nerves, dear. It's just nerves. I'm the same, and I'm a man. Let's sit in the garden for a bit.
Don't you think we ought to clear up, dear?
Yes, later on. I feel a bit weak and dizzy. We'll make a start soon.
Oh, suppose Jerry comes this afternoon.
No, they wait for the fallout to clear. Too dangerous for a few days. We've got plenty of time. The situation is well in hand, you bet. Our boys will be lying in wait for them. I expect they've laid a trap. Jerry will walk straight into it. Hello? There's a cloud coming up. Looks like rain.
Must be black rain.
It's raining. I'm going in.
Rain! Yes! We can save it.
Don't you get wet, James. You'll catch a chill. We don't want you laid up again.
We'll be all right for water now for a while, dear.
Do you think rainwater is all right to drink?
Oh, yes, of course it is. There's nothing purer than rainwater, is there? Everybody knows that.
Perhaps
This rain is contaminated. This water is contaminated. But, yeah. I think I've already resigned myself to the fact that you guys are not going to make it. I'm just wondering how is it going to end. Will it be in pain? Or will you just sleep and never wake up?
I'd better avoid it. Best to be on the safe side.
Oh, yes, I suppose so. We don't want to take unnecessary risks. It may prejudice our chance of survival.
What do you mean, James? We have survived, haven't we?
Yes, I know, but after the bombs on Japan, people died ages later. I forget exactly why.
Perhaps they didn't take precautions.
Yes. I expect they neglected to do the correct thing and anyway, that was years ago. Science was in its infancy. We're better equipped to deal with the situation in the light of modern scientific knowledge. Oh, yes. Nowadays, there's bound to be all sorts.
Even in 2024, we are not better equipped to deal with this situation. Yes, there might be some government and the employees of that government that will have the necessary resources to survive through something like this. But the majority of the millions upon millions of people belonging to these countries, they're not ready. They're just not ready. We're not ready.
sorts of antidotes and protectives. When the medics get through, they'll probably just spray us with some antidote, give us a couple of pills, and in no time, we'll be as right as rain.
Yeah, stay confident.
I'm glad we moved to the country when you retired, dear.
Yes, it's much more peaceful. If we'd still been in London, we'd probably have been bombed out by now.
Yes, unless we'd been evacuated.
Oh, that was only children. And women too, of course. I'd have been requisitioned for essential war work.
But you're far too old. You're retired.
Yes, but all age groups are pressed into emergency service during times of national emergency, dear. I'd have been an air raid warden. Or a stretcher bearer. Red Cross. And St. John's Ambulance Brigade. Or a fireman in the docks. Jerry up above, fire bombs raining down, up the turntable ladders, carrying women to safety.
Trust you to think of that, James. I wish we had neighbours. I'd like to ask someone what's going on.
Well, I warned you, dear. This cottage is a bit isolated, I said. You're not going to like it, I said. I wish we didn't have to stay put. I quite fancy a pint. I said I'd see old George down the Half Moon today for a game of darts.
I expect he'll be busy with his cows after the bomb. It might have put them off laying, milking, I mean.
Yes, it may have curdled the milk or something.
I think they were all burnt alive. They're dead.
These bombs have a terrific effect on things. He may have switched over to yogurt. Yeah, lots of people's lives are going to be considerably affected by the bomb.
London Airport will have been knocked out, I expect.
Yes,
Is London Airport Heathrow Airport?
bang goes a lot of people's holidays this year.
The Yanks won't come flocking in.
Oh, no, not unless to help us against the Ruskies. Remember in the war? Got any gum, chum? We used to stand on the railway embankment and the Yanks used to shower us with gum and chocolate and K-ration. Terrific it was. I wonder if the Ruskies chew gum. Got any gumsky, comrade?
You won't be able to say that, James. They're the enemy.
Oh, yes. I keep forgetting. Crumbs. We won't have to try and kill them, will we?
Well, I suppose so. That's what you're supposed to do to the enemy, isn't it?
Crumbs. I hadn't really thought of that. You mean to say, if one of them comes through that door this afternoon, I'm supposed to try and kill him?
Well, not you, James. After all, you're retired.
Well, what would I kill him with? A bit of old iron, I suppose.
I must mend those socks for you, James.
They'd have Tommy guns. They always do. He'd mow us down, Hilda.
If a German sees you in these socks, he'll think you're just a peasant.
Die, you English pig dogs, he'd say. Enemies of the fatherland, Heil Hitler! Oh, no, sorry, no.
He really is a kid sometimes, James. Oh, wow.
No, that's the last time. I keep forgetting it's the Ruskies now. No, just suppose one did come. Great big Russian, big overcoat, great big boots with snow on, great furry hat.
If there was a Russian soldier who'd come to your house, they wouldn't be dressed like that. You know, they would have a mask. They would be wearing some sort of hazardous suit to protect them from the radiation. And yeah, it wouldn't look like this.
All covered in belts of ammo and grenades. Blooming great Tommy gun pointing straight at us. What am I supposed to do?
You could offer him a cup of tea, I suppose.
We mustn't be collaborators, Hilda. They'd shave our heads.
Russians like tea. A cup of tea wouldn't hurt, surely.
I suppose it's better than being mown down in a hail of bullets. Crumbs! They might round us up and take us off to the concentration camps.
Why? We've not done anything. We're not Jews or anything.
Your grandfather was a Jew.
He was not. Well, only partly.
They'd send us to Liberia, down the salt mines.
Whatever for?
I don't know. They always do. Perhaps Russians eat a lot of salt.
I expect they're quite nice, really. I saw the Russians dancing on telly once, all in boots. They seem nice.
Oh, yes. Actually, some of them are nice. There were supposed to be some nice Germans last time.
I think we're running out of water again, dear. The rainwater's all gone. Oh, we've still got a pint of milk.
Better save that for tea time. I can't bear tea without milk. Posh people have lemon in it.
I know, horrible.
Crumbs! I wonder if it was an American missile falling a bit short. That happened in the war. Blokes getting shelled by their own guns. Be funny if it was an American missile that had landed on us, wouldn't it, dear?
I can't see it's very funny, James.
No, well, they're funny, peculiar, I mean.
Are they worse than the Russian ones?
Oh, I shouldn't think so, love. I expect they're all much of a muchness. They all work on...
I don't like running egg. I like it when my egg is fried, completely. There should be nothing running. Yeah. Oof.
On the same principle. It's called mega death, I think. So many millions of people dead per bang. Any catch up, dear? I expect the quantity is similar either way.
Are all the bangs about the same size, then?
Oh, no, there's 1 megaton and 10 megaton in that. It's just a question of how big a bang you want to make and how many people you want to kill. More baked beans, dear?
No, thanks. I'm a bit off food.
Then there's the overkill.
She literally only took 2 bites and now she can't eat. Oh, it's bad.
See, that's where they kill more people than they really need to. Say you want a bang big enough to kill 1 million people, and you go and use a 3 million people bang. It's terrifically wasteful of energy in the present economic climate.
I see, dear.
Yes, there's one thing about the present economic situation. I mean...
Such a
I see Miss Ducks, like, she's really exhausted. She's really ill. But then James, he still has this full energy about him. He's still talking and talking, talking about so many things, non-stop. But then Miss Ducks, she's barely walking. She can barely eat. You can see it on her face. She's very tired. Her hair is also just draping down, But Mr. James, oi, so much energy.
shame we can't wash up.
In order to conserve world energy resources, the powers that be will only use the smallest possible bang.
The powers that be.
Oh, I can't bear it.
I expect that's why we're still here.
We're running out of crockery.
We could say we owe our lives to the World Economic Procession. Put the kettle on, will you, Ducks?
There's no water, dear.
Oh, no.
Oh my gosh. Okay, now it has caught up to James as well. His face. Oh my gosh.
Of course, just have to have milk then.
That pint's gone bad, dear. The fridge has been off.
Oh, heck. Well, black coffee then.
There's no water.
There's still no water, dear.
Well, what are we going to drink, eh? What are we going to drink, for God's sake?
Calm down, James. She understands. There's nothing that she can do. There's nothing that you can do. Just Just breathe.
Shout, dearest.
I'm sorry, love. I'm just terribly thirsty.
How about a nice sweet, dear? It's a blackcurrant throat pastille. Ah, there's only one left.
You have it.
No, you have it.
We'll cut it in half. That's fair. I'm coming. I'm coming.
What was that? A rat? Sure.
A rat! A rat! Ah! A rat in the lavatory! Oh! Oh, I saw it. Its tail was waving in the pan.
Never mind, dear. Never mind. No. It won't hurt you, dearest.
The pan's all dry and its head was round the bend, just its bottom end sticking out. A tail. Oh, a tail. Horrible.
There, dear. Now, don't worry. I'll pop down to Willis's in the morning and I'll get some warfaring. Now, at least it shows the drains aren't blocked.
Oh, dear. I do feel queer. All shaky.
Well, it's bound to upset you a bit, the bomb I mean. Have you got lipstick on, dear?
Lipstick? What do you mean, James?
Yeah, she's bleeding. Probably her gums are bleeding. I don't know if she has been bleeding from her rectum, because that's what happens when you have radiation poisoning. Your stool also becomes, bloody. Yeah.
I haven't worn lipstick for years.
Well, your lips are all red.
My gums are bleeding. I thought there was a funny taste.
Well, shrinking of gums causing ill-fitting dentures. That's what that is. Better get to the dentist when the emergency has rescinded.
There was blood when I went to the toilet this morning.
Yes, me too. Piles, that is. Hoboloids. A common complaint in middle-aged people like ourselves. I'll pop down to the chemist when the crisis pales into insignificance, and I'll get some of those suppositories.
Oh dear. I think I'm going to be sick. There,
ducks. There, now. Oh, now. All better now. Now, please, no, don't upset yourself, love. No, please, no, don't cry. I expect it's due to the vibration, like being in a car. You remember that time we went to Bournemouth, and you were sick in the coach? Oh, don't worry, duck, don't worry. Can't be anything wrong with you. I expect it's just the after effects of the bomb.
Yeah, it is the after effects of the bomb. It is.
I do fancy a nice cup of tea.
Do you think the cows will be affected by the bomb, dear?
Oh, no, I shouldn't think so. They're all out in the country. Supplies of milk will be maintained. It is essential for the maintenance of healthy bones and teeth.
Yes, but we live in the country, dear.
Yes, I know, dear.
Well, the grass is all dead and funny.
Yes, well, I don't know.
For the first time, you said you don't know. For the first time in a long time, you said you don't know. Because usually he always has the answer. There's always something that he says, whenever his wife asks him questions. He's always had an answer, but now he doesn't know.
I expect there may be a temporary containment of supplies.
Okay, there's the answer. Mr. James.
I suppose we'd better just sit here and wait for help to arrive.
Yes, the emergency services will have sprung into action at the first alarm signal.
I hope they get here before the enemy. I hope Beryl and Ron got back all right.
Oh, they'll be all right. They'd have been safely home long before the bomb.
Yes, hopefully Ron and Beryl and June, their baby, hopefully they're okay. If they're not, then they've been embraced by their gods or their ancestors in the afterlife. And they will be waiting for you.
Our Ron's a sensible boy. At the first sign, he'd get the whole family down the shelters right away.
There aren't any shelters, dear.
Oh, no. No, I forgot. Well,
Her legs, oh my gosh.
but he'll be all right. I gave him the governmental leaflet. He'll be all right with that. That will afford him the maximum protection available to the populace. He'll take cover immediately and adopt all the prescribed precautionary measures. He's no fool, our Ron. He's not likely to get hot under the collar. He won't go to pieces. Whole family will stick together.
Oh, look.
Oh, there were socks. Oh, okay. Phew. But yeah, she's got some lesions on her legs too. Oh gosh.
There's funny spots on my legs.
Various veins. That's what that is. That's a common complaint amongst the middle-aged segment of the populace. Oh, that's nothing to worry about.
They don't look like veins to me. I don't like the look of it.
Oh, you are a baby. You're a born warrior, you are, you know. Now you just try and look on the bright side, eh, Dax? Look, I've even got funny blotches on my skin, see? And I'm a man. There's too much tinned food, that's all that is.
Yes. Pilchards never did agree with me. Must put some skin lotion on those spots.
Yes, oh, they'll soon clear up. I'll pop down to the chemist in the morning. I'll get some ointment.
Yes.
James is always stating that he's gonna go out and, go to the town or go and talk to one of his friends or, go buy something. He's gonna leave the house, but he never does. He never does. He says he's going to do all of these things, but he just never does. I think he is slowly losing, his mind. But I think what's anchoring him in reality is the fact that his wife is still here with him. And also Miss Dux is here with James. They're anchoring each other in this reality. Because I think they are slowly but surely losing their minds. I don't know whether it's due to the radiation poisoning or is it something else, but they are losing their perspective on time, and their sentences and what they're saying, it just doesn't really make sense with what's going on right now with them. There are times where they do understand, like, there's something going on with them, that they're changing, their bodies are changing, but then of course James comes in to soothe the situation so that Miss Dux doesn't start panicking, she doesn't start worrying too much. And this also helps James because he's convincing himself that everything is going to be okay, the government is going to come and help us, we're going to be fine. But if one of them had passed away first in this situation, they would have gone mad. The one who survived would have gone mad. James wouldn't know what to do. He wouldn't know what to do with himself if his wife had passed away. Miss Dux also would not know what to do with her life if her husband passed away. So in this entire situation, in this entire ordeal that they are going through, they have each other. They are their anchor points in this reality. And yes, it's good that they have each other. At this end, it's good that they have each other. That's something. Out of this entire horrible situation, it's something. It's big. The fact that the person you love, your best friend, is still here with you till the very end. Not many people will have that lucky chance. Not many people
We could do with some lozenges or pastilles too. I've still got a terrible throat.
Yes, so have I. I wonder if you'll be able to sell us some water.
I'm going to have an early night, James. We could do with a good long rest after that blessed bomb.
Oh, yes, it's bound to take it out of you. A thing like that. Yeah, it's a shock to the system.
Oh, yes, I expect so. Oh, look! My hair's coming out.
Don't worry, dearest. Don't worry. Women don't go bald. No, that's a scientific fact.
Shall we get into those paper bags again?
Well, whatever for, dear?
Well, you never know. There might be another one while we're asleep.
Well, I suppose it wouldn't hurt. It would be a sensible precautionary measure in the circumstances. After all, this is an all-out war situation, and well, I mean, another IBM might come over.
Oh, it's stuffy in these bags.
Now you know what it feels like to be a potato.
I should hate that, being buried in the ground.
Oh, yes, so would I. Give me cremation every time.
Oh, me too. Yes, we'd better just stay here and wait for the emergency services to arrive.
Yes, they'll take good care of us. We won't have to worry about a thing. Just leave everything to them. The governmental authorities will know what to do with us. The powers that be will get to us in the end.
You have got the box with our medical cards and birth certificates, haven't you?
Yes, dear, yes. They're quite safe.
Shall we pray, dear?
Pray?
Yes.
Oh, crumbs. Who to?
Well, God, of course.
Oh, I see. Yes, if you think it would be the correct thing.
It can't do any harm, dear.
Okay. Here goes. Dear sir.
That's wrong.
Well, how do you start?
Oh, God.
Our help in ages past.
That's it. Keep it up.
Almighty and most merciful Father.
That's good.
Dearly beloved, we are gathered unto thee. I shall fear no evil. Thy rod and thy staff comfort me all the days of my life. Lay me down in green pastures. I can't remember anymore.
That was nice, dear. I like the bit about the green pasture.
Oh, yes. Into the valley of the shadow of death.
Oh, no more, love. No more.
Road the 600.
Rockabye baby on the treetop. When the wind blows, the cradle will rock. Oh, babe, hate to see you fall that way. Better speak to the powers that be today. Hey Joe, where you going with that gun in your hand? You can take your revenge, but you'll still feel bad. There must be more to life than lucky strikes and some unlucky ones, and folded flags and pipes and drums. I stood in the wings with love, our lives in the hands of the second-rate actor, holding the high ground, slinging a stage. Oh, babe, how do these jaded stars get so far away? Will they catch what the other actors say? Hey Joe, where you going with that dogma in your head? You can prove your point, but your kids will still be dead. Bring down the curtain, this soap opera must surely close before the cold wind blows. on the treetop when the wind blows. The cradle will rock. There must be more to life than lucky strikes and some unlucky one. Folded flags and pipes and drums.
What's happening now? Just blank. Just fast forward a bit. Oh, okay. Yeah. Movie's done. 3, 2, 1. Complete. Wow. Okay, guys. That's it. With When the Wind Blows, a 1986 animated war drama movie requested by Counter Eclipse, aka Rovan Desek. Yeah, When the Wind Blows. This movie, it's sad. It's a sweet but also a very bitter ending to it, you know. The sweet part is that James and Miss Dux were together throughout this entire ordeal. They had each other. You know, not one partner died while the other one continued to live until the radiation poisoning also got to them. They both were together till the very end. That's the sweet part. The bitter part is that they died in such a slow, drawn out situation like this. They tried their best. Hold on, guys, I have a call. Okay, sorry. Yes, they tried their best to keep their hopes up, to keep their spirits up. Yes, in throughout all this entire situation with the nuclear attack, and even before that, you know, Ms. Dux didn't really focus on what was going to happen. You know, she was mainly focused with her chores, keeping the house in order. It was James who was focusing on preparing themselves for the eventuality of this nuclear attack. And you know, there were some times when Ms. Dux would say, you know, I've been through war, you've been through war, we've survived, and we'll survive through this as well, you know. And that was confidence coming from her, but it was also confidence coming out from a place of ignorance, because she did not know what type of weapons they're going to be using. These terrible, nightmarish weapons. And really, James did all he could. With the information that was available to him, he tried his best. He tried his best. He believed in the system. He believed in the government. He believed in the powers that be, that they would be the ones to save them from this entire situation. But they failed. I'm not saying that they failed after the explosion. I'm saying that they failed before the explosion. They failed in making sure that this sort of catastrophe never happens. They failed. And from that failure, has resulted in millions upon millions of people, their lives, the death and destruction of so much. They failed. The powers that be that James had put so much faith in had failed him. Even the information that was given to him by the county council or by the government, there are two separate instructions on what they should be doing, when there should be one unified instruction on what you should be doing in the eventuality or the possibility of a nuclear attack. So many of the things that he had been collecting, many of the things that he had done to protect his home, or should I say make the shelter to protect him and Dux, yes, it was effective in terms of the nuclear explosion and the shockwave, but it was not effective when it came to the nuclear fallout. The high doses of radiation from the atmosphere, the high doses of radiation on the surface, the high doses of radiation in the water that's also been contaminated, those are the things that killed them. They survived the shockwave, they survived the heat that was coming from the explosion, but this is one thing that they could not survive from. Another call. Sorry guys, I keep getting calls. But where was I? Oh gosh, where was I? But yes, as I was saying about Mr. James, trying his best to protect him and his wife, but this was one thing that they could not protect themselves from, and that was the invisible death, the silent death, the odorless, the tasteless death, and that is, the radioactive fallout. I don't know if it would have truly helped that they stayed in their shelter for 48 hours or longer. I'm not truly certain about that, because the dust was in the house. The radioactive dust was in the house. It was hanging in the air. They were breathing in the air. They were breathing in the dust. So it doesn't matter that they built a shelter to protect them from the shockwave and the explosion. The air that they breathe, the very air that they breathe, is already contaminated. So there was just going to be no way of escaping or surviving through something like this. And like I said before, at least they had each other. They had each other to the bitter end. And that is something that you can never take granted of in this type of situation, where there's a nuclear attack, everybody is dying or dead. At least you have someone who loves you, you love them, you care for each other. At least you have someone. You don't have to be alone in all of this. Even as you're slowly dying, at least if someone's there with you, that pain is just taken away just a bit, because you get to focus on talking, on helping each other throughout this entire situation. So James and Miss Dux, at least they had each other throughout this entire ordeal. And that is something that you can never underestimate or overstep. The value of companionship, to empathize, to sympathize with each other, to give each other strength, to talk to each other. There were times where James would not stop talking. He would not stop talking. He always had an answer for every single question that Miss Dux would ask. And Miss Dux would always be asking questions, wanting that assurity. Because she doesn't know. She doesn't know. She didn't know. She's also still trying to figure things out as it played on. But at least James was there to respond to her, to give her that comfort. They gave each other that comfort. And that's very important. So yeah, this story really, it had a very nice beginning with the soundtrack, when the wind blows, dee 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 dee. Yeah, I really did like that. But as we just continued further into the movie, and you just realize that this war is really going to happen, and everything is going to change. It changed the landscape, the infrastructure, the very home was shattered as well. But they did not change. Miss Dux and Mr. James, they did not change. They were still the same people. Shell-shocked, yes. Being ill from radiation poisoning, yes. But their personality, the people that they are, was not changed. And that's amazing. That is amazing. And I think it's also duly because they had each other that they did not change drastically. And that's very beautiful. Yeah, guys. It's a nice movie. It's a very, very nice movie. Very sad movie. And I have to say that for those who live in countries that have nuclear weapons, you must advocate for their dismantlement. You must. You must. Any way that you can, any small way that you can contribute. If there's a protest against, the proliferation of nuclear weapons, or there's a protest for the dismantlement of nuclear weapons, support it. Support it on social media, support it on the ground, have your placards. Any way you can. Support the United Nations. That's also having a program for governments to start dismantling these types of weapons. Because we don't need them. We don't. Earth is the only home we have. If we burn this place, there's nowhere for us to go to. We will die here. All of us. So it's very important that we are all on the same page when it comes to nuclear weapons. They need to go. They need to go. We cannot afford to have wars like what we had in World War II, where nuclear weapons were used. We cannot do that to ourselves again. We cannot. And to those who are advocating for nuclear weapons, you really have to understand the cost of something like this. It is just unbelievable, the type of destruction that can come from something like this. It's unbelievable. It is soul-shaking. The amount of pain and suffering that you get from something like this. How is it that you would support something like this, where we would have these types of weaponry systems? How? You need to ask yourself, really, is this what I really believe in? So, wherever you are, whoever you are, if you have people who are warmongers, people who support having nuclear weapons, show them this movie. Show them Barefoot Gen, the Japanese animated movie. Show them the cost of having weapons like this. There's no heroics here. There's no grand parade of victory with this type of warfare exchange. There is no peace after this. It's death. It's stagnancy. It's pain and suffering. It's a world scarred for the future generations to inherit. And they will curse us. They will hate us for what we've done to Earth. There is nothing to gain from having such things like nuclear weapons. Nothing. I can understand for medical purposes. I can understand for space exploration purposes, but not to kill each other with. It's madness. Yeah. When the wind blows. Okay, guys, that's it. Remember, if you want to check out the original video, I will put the link in the description below. If you like my reaction, please give me a like, comment, and subscribe to my channel. Click on the notification bell if you want to be up to date with my latest videos. And thank you again to Counter Eclipse, aka Rovan Desik, for the request. It's been good. Okay. Hey, these calls are coming in. Alright. Bye-bye.